What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. You know what time it is, baby. It's 9:30. It's Tuesday night tonight because we got the NBA draft the next couple of nights, and we got a lot to talk about. But you know what time it is. It's time for that cause, because that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. Got a great panel tonight for our show. And just remember, guys, we want your participation. Whether you're watching this live or recorded, definitely hit that chat box live. And please point out when we've inaccurately said something in error, as well as voice your opinions. This is much your all show. And I can't thank enough the 84 subscribers that have been with us. This is episode 77, and we are really only 23 away from an episode 100. And I hope that I can get like 10 or 12 panelists on for that show, kind of like a nod to Around the Horn, but we better than Around the Horn. Simple as that. But truth be told, I don't mute anybody. Everybody can have their speak, and that's what we're all about here, to have a good time and talk sports. And it's time to wrap up the spring stuff officially with the conclusion of college baseball and NBA finals. We're going to get into all of, like I said, your participation drives the show. We want to hear what you got to say. But I have got a great panel tonight that are going to bring in all their opinions. We appreciate their time and love, because we're doing this all for the time and love. Just wanted to let you know, they've got to give some shouts out to our sponsors. King's Chamber, Miss Kim Castle over there on the Pike. Give her a call, 865-236-5550. Haircuts, beard trims, waxes, get 2 tasty beverages. You get the royal treatment there at the Chamber. Fellas, go give her a call, book it, give her a call, make you a spot there. She does take walk-ins, but just make sure that you let her know you're coming, and she'll give you that royal treatment. Also got to give some love to a fellow West High alum, Mr. Alex Thatcher, class of 2003, his Knoxville Coffee Company there off of the Sutherland Avenue in the heart of Marble City. That brew is good any time of the day. Listen, even though it's hotter than you know what outside, facts is that coffee will wake you up, especially if you got to get your day started early like me, 7 in the morning. So definitely go hit that up. Also got to give some love to Josh Fink and Corey over at Razor Shop Barber Shop in Knoxville. They will take you, just let you know, let them know that Rebels with a Cause sent you. Also, same goes for the Chamber up there. Let Kim Castle know that Rebels with a Cause and the Italian Stallion sent you to go see them. Also, got to give our love to Big Fact Sports Network. Follow them at 332 Studios. They are just growing over there, doing some exciting things, and just show them the love just like you show us each and every day. They've always got content, and they'll love the support just as much as we appreciate each and every one of you. That being said, everybody, no matter where you are watching this live or recorded, give all of my guests, my panelists, the respect and love that they deserve. Honestly, taking the time out of their busy nights from away from their families to be with me, to be with you, to talk about all things sports, because, hey, you know what? There's a crazy world going on. Don't talk politics here. We don't talk about the crazy shit that's going on. You know what? This is my slice of life of heaven, to just get away from all the craziness. So, want to welcome each of them on. First and foremost, you know him as the coach, our guy who's been with us since the beginning practically. Love that he's on here more. Glad that he's got a job that he's actually enjoying and actually appreciates his hard work and services. The one, the only, Mr. Shane O'Mac, Shane McGee. How you doing, baby?
Man, I am exhausted today. I have been pounding water since 7 a.m. I'm still dehydrated, but I'm here.
Hey, you know what? You look like you got a little bit of a good tan going, too. Have you been out in the sun or something? So,
yeah, I've been out in the sun the past couple of days.
I love it.
My forearms are about 5 shades darker than my bicep. My bicep's about 3 shades darker than my shoulder.
There you go. There you go.
And then the neck and everything else is
it's just that.
A nice little glow.
Yeah, well, it looks good. It's definitely indicative of how hot it is outside and that it is summertime. So absolutely. So, hey, and ladies, he is single still. So hit him up, by the way. So, yeah, you can email Rebels with a Cause 1324. Let me know, and we'll get you in contact with him. So simple as that. Got to bring in my other panelists. Let me tell you something. I know that he gives me the credit, and Two-Pair and Shane, but honestly, he gave me the idea. I like to refer to him as the godfather of Rebels with a Cause, because him and Devin Lloyd, my other brother down in Atlanta with Utah, they gave me this idea to make this show, and I'm just very appreciative of all of their hard work and support, and definitely give them some love, even if you're a Miami fan or not. But I've got to bring him on. My favorite Cajun, my brother from another mother, down in Louisiana, in the heart of the Bayou, Mr. Larry Frank Jr. How you doing?
What's good, man? And I too, like Shane O'Mac, I have a tan as well, but mine is natural. It ain't from the
I'm jealous, damn it. I am jealous of that. So
I'm trying to get all my freckles to connect at this point.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. My last panelist tonight, hopefully we get two pair on. He's been traveling today, but we hope to get him on a little bit later if he can make it tonight. But he's been on the show before. We're glad to have him back. He took the time out of his busy schedule. We love his support. He's been a fan from the beginning. And remember, you saw that smile when he was there to greet you when you were dropping your kid off, or you were a kid yourself when you were being dropped off. He made you feel welcomed at a place we all really didn't want to be, at school. But you probably saw him at the sporting events too. He's a lover of sports. I'm proud to call him my friend, Mr. Kerry Reeves. How you doing, baby?
How you doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great, man. We're glad to have you on again and so forth. I told you.
And mine is natural. And mine is natural too, just like Larry. Man.
Absolutely, yeah. Brother, you're looking good. I just want you to know, since the last time you were on the show, I think you've dropped 10 more pounds or whatever. You're going to be withering away to nothing before it's all said and done. So
I'm not going to let that happen. Withering away to nothing's not going to happen for me. It won't happen for me no time flat soon. I'm also single too, just to be sure.
There you go. So there you go. Hit him up, ladies. Hey, look at that smile. I'm telling you. So genuinely great guy. Let me tell you. So
thanks, James. Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
You bet, guys. Well, let's get this thing started. Obviously, the big news, if anybody was living under a rock, the thing is that I almost feel like I underestimated these NBA finals. I mean, a lot of us thought it could have been a sweep. It was 4-1. And if you're paying attention to why I named this episode, and the basketball gods robbed us of an epic Game 7. Why could that Achilles have not held on for at least a full 48 minutes? We'll get to him in a second. But guys, I actually made a comment to Shane and Two Pair about Game 6. We thought it was done, but this boy played, and they ran the Thunder out of the building. And I was thinking, did OKC blow this just so they could win it in front of their fans? I'm going to say this, guys. If this kid don't get hurt, I don't even know if they're celebrating on their own home floor, because it was 16-16 when he went down. We'll get to him in a minute. But the fact that we even got to Game 7 and it was 16-16 and he looked like he was cooking right off the bat. But in the end, OKC did what they had to do to win it. Congrats to Sam Presti, probably the best GM in the NBA right now, and the young guns for putting it together, not wilting under the pressure, and they got it done. Obviously the next question is, can they repeat this with the moves that are being made? We'll talk about those topics. But guys, Shane, I'll go with you, then Larry, then Kerry. Your thoughts on how this NBA Finals ended when we honestly could have had an epic Game 7.
I would have loved to see Game 7. It would have been amazing. Congrats to OKC. You had so many stars on that team at one point to where you don't have it now, and you played fundamental team basketball and do what you're supposed to do. I like seeing that again. So NBA's not my thing anymore, so.
I got it. No, I get it. I think that the thing that was just interesting to me is how we all picked that we thought it would be a very quick series. But Indiana held their own. And guys, I hate to bring it up because I felt like I brought it up last week. But that Game 4, I think that the Pacers are really going to kick themselves that, with 10 minutes left, you're at home. They go up 3-1. then game 6, you do blow them out of the building and you win 4-2. And you don't even have to worry about the injury happening that happened in game 7, but I don't know. Larry, what were your thoughts on how these NBA finals went and what happened in that game 7? So
it was a surprise to me because, like we've been voicing the last couple of weeks, we didn't expect it to go 7. It was a slugfest back and forth. Yes, you had some blowouts, and this team blew out the other one blew out this one, but it was back and forth. It was the type of series that I enjoyed. It was reminiscent of an old school series.
yes,
Yeah, definitely a lot
I
of
like that.
on that court. It was reminiscent of those old school series that they went 7, not just the NBA finals, but your basic conference series, Pacers, Knicks, those types of series, Bulls, Pistons, and for him, because we were on last week when it was announced that he wouldn't play for game 6, he finds a way to play, and they forced the game 7, and just for him to get hurt like that, and when you out, and I watched him when he went down and he starts slamming, punching the floor and screaming, and my heart went out to him, man, because he's still young, man. I'm not saying he'll be one of the faces of the league, but I think he's one of the young bright stars that you can lean on in the future, because contrary to what everybody wants to talk about, LeBron's days are just about over. And you don't have, I think, the heir apparent to LeBron like LeBron was to Kobe, like Kobe was to Michael, like Michael was to Magic. You don't have that proverbial torch passing. So until you get that next great star, you need to have a grouping or a conglomerate of young studs that can make the league interesting to watch. I think you have that in OKC with MVP. I can't call his name.
Oh, Shea. Yeah, Shea Alexander. Yeah. Yeah.
You got that in OKC, and then you got Haliburton. But when you look at everybody else, Kyrie Irving's on the way out. His better days are behind him. Kevin Durant, I mean, yeah, he's got traded again, but guess what? His better days are behind him. Giannis, I think, is getting on the downside of his career now. His upside is done, so he's kind of hit his prime, and now I think he's about to start looking, down into the valley. So it's time for this new crop of NBA stars to rise up. And one little tidbit, and I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Oh, sure.
OKC is the youngest team average by age. Their average age is 24.7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And other than your Bulls, they're like the only team that's won 80-something games, too. I saw that stat, unless that was a wrong stat.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
80,
Warriors.
Thank you. I forgot about the Warriors. That's super team.
Their first spring, they won over 80.
That's right.
81 and 9. And everybody tried to say, I think, because they pretty much won 80, that they were better than my Bulls, who I'm sorry, 71 and 9 rather. They were better than the Bulls that went 72 and 10, but I'm sorry, it don't mean a thing if you didn't get the ring. That's the only time that I don't have a problem.
You ain't hold up that trophy.
Listen, listen, it don't matter. Just keep this in mind. I think about that Kentucky team in basketball. They went 38-1, but nobody gave a shit about it. At the end of the day, they didn't win the national title. That all looks nice, but until you hoist the trophy up, that's all that matters, right there.
Of all the New England Patriots championships, 16-0 until they ran into Eli in the Super Bowl.
Yep. And he took 2 from Brady, if you think about it. 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them. So,
yeah.
Chris, Chris Kane for life. Thank you for the love and support, brother. He writes, I'm not a Pacers fan, but I don't like to see anyone get hurt, especially like that. My prayers are with him. I feel like they're going to meet again. Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, man, I found it really disgusting, like how the Knicks fans behaved about that and so forth, because they were talking about the memes with the choke and everything. It's like, you should have busted his ass when you had him or whatever like that. Granted, there's teams I can't stand But I have never, being an athlete, and unless you're an athlete, you would never wish that upon somebody
Right.
else,
Oh,
because
never.
there is a thing of karma. There really is. And I was just sickened by their fans on social media. And I'm like, that's why you haven't done shit since the 70s. Realistically, you haven't, there's karma with that. So, but hey, they got further than you, and they've gotten further than you at your expense twice now in this 21st century. So, suck on that, New York, honestly. Kerry, your thoughts on the game, man. What did you think? And Larry, I do want to revisit something, because we are going to talk about the KD trade and who is going to be the next level, because you got these kids that are all in the draft. We're going to talk about that too tonight. But, I think another name that needs to also be mentioned that is probably on the way down is Joel Embiid. He can't stay healthy. A lot of people talked about him. I even think about Andrew Wiggins, who was supposed to be the next LeBron James on that Slam magazine cover, and Andrew Wiggins hasn't even lived up near the hype or what have you. It's looking like he might be traded to the Lakers. The Lakers are trying to get Andrew Wiggins for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's being talked about.
Great or a good player is going to die.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's what it seems like. So, yeah. But, Kerry, you have the floor, brother. What were your thoughts on this series and the Game 7 of how it ended,
Congrats to Oklahoma City. They did a really good job. Indiana did a fantastic job, too, for everything that they went through. The series kind of reminded me of those I'm old enough to remember the old end of the 70s with Washington and Seattle, LA and Philadelphia going into the 80s, Boston and the Lakers. Those are the type of series that reminded me of. Good physical play, back and forth. Yes, you had blowouts either way, but the games that were close were very compelling. You had a road team. Indiana really upset the apple cart when they won Game 1. Right. And I'm like you, I go back to Game 4. Had they won Game 4, Haliburton doesn't play Game 5. You get him back Game 6. They roll Game 6, and they win the title 4-2. We don't have a 7th game. We don't have the injury.
That's true.
There's so many things that both ways. Had Indiana and Oklahoma won Game 1, it might have been 4 games to 1. It might have been a sweep.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I brought up the thing with
the was so compelling.
And that's why I brought up the mental edge with the Panthers series, because, if Edmonton goes up 2-0 going back to Florida, there's a possibility that series is all different together. It really is, So, I mean, again, you play the series is out how they win. But that Game 4 with the 10 minutes and you had all the momentum, that crowd, you were at home. I could have seen that happening in OKC, but I was shocked that it happened in Indiana. You know what I mean? Type of a thing. So
I mean, Carlisle's already won a title. Just think a second title for a coach like him would have put him in Hall of Fame. I think he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame anyway, but that would have really cemented winning 2 titles with 2 different teams with 2 different styles.
And with this team, listen, Haliburton came on, and Siakam is a nice player, but for the most part, they were kind of like a no-name team. You maybe recognize some of their guys from college and so forth, but they didn't have the big-time names that are playing for the Cavaliers or the Celtics or any of those type of teams, if you get my drift, in that type of a market.
And think about the Eastern Conference now. Think about the Eastern Conference next year. You have no Jason Tatum. You have no Tyrese Haliburton. You got no David Lillard in Milwaukee.
Right.
And now Boston has traded away Porzingis to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
we're going to talk about that one with the KD trade, because I know that happened. Yeah, Indiana is a very tough place to play. Probably one of the best environments to get
their
that.
Environment's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing too. I do want to talk about that, because that came across my phone before we went on the show about Kristoff getting traded, and then and my thing is this, guys. The Brooklyn, I guess that's what they are now. I still think of them as New Jersey, but the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
they have now 6 picks in the first 37 picks of this NBA draft. They have 5 in this first round. Now, granted, a few of them are in the 20s, but I think this is a very deep draft, in my opinion, that you can pretty much get some solid pieces or use them as trade bait. I don't know what their maneuvers are going to be. Now, again, it's been where careers have gone to die, unfortunately.
Go get Giannis.
Yeah, yeah.
Go get Giannis. You got the trade bait to go get Giannis.
Yeah, trade all those picks, and Milwaukee might want to just do a complete rebuild at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but those picks, we'll get to that in a minute. The next topic I did want to talk about was this Tyrese Haliburton injury, and Larry, to bring it up, and Shane, you've had injuries, you've seen injuries. We've all been accustomed to them. But yeah, to see the anguish on his face and him go down like that, his girlfriend and his dad and mom consoling him in the back, they had the pictures. I would have torn a cage open just to whatever I could have done to get back out there. And yes, the Pacers were up at halftime, but how does that third quarter go with Haliburton at your disposal? You ain't down no 14 points by the end of it, is what I'm getting at. It was a complete 16 to 18 point swing after halftime. The adjustments made by OKC were phenomenal. But
the defense was phenomenal.
But that being said, I don't want to insinuate anything, but like we talked about, we thought it was a wrap game 6. Tyrese Haliburton, we thought wasn't going to play. He tests it out and he looks phenomenal. I don't know if it was adrenaline. I don't know if they gave him the Bud Kilmer shot or what have you. I don't know. Okay. But it did enough to get through game 6. And I just hate that if he played through it all with some pain medicine, whatever, that's up to his discretion. But the fact is he was playing with a calf strain, and look where the injury happened and so forth. And I get it, but this young man was the story of the playoffs. You can look at everything from opening round to the end. His clutch shots, he had that dog in him. He had that killer in him, guys. And to see him go down like that and not be able to finish it, at least standing up, hugging 0.00 on the clock, let whoever's with 1 point better be the winner, sucks. But what's worse, we ain't even going to have him next year either. And there's now a trend of major injuries where this happened. It happened to Tatum. It's happened to some guys right now. And just too many injuries are happening, and they are big endings. So Shane, go for it. What you got, man?
It's a very, very hard injury to recover from.
It is.
I told mom had to have it cut, lengthened. So my Achilles is literally half of a normal person's, because what they do is they'll cut it, stretch it back up your calf, and reattach it, so it's never fully the same again.
Oh man!
So
where you can't plant your foot, and there is no your foot is never level from it unless you have it completely repaired.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Unless they change medical procedures since I have mine done, which mine was 13 years ago. It's a brutal recovery. I have a scar that goes from my heel up my calf, where mine's cut and lengthened, just so it fully functions again.
So how does it affect mobility?
You don't have the spring in your step. You don't jump. It's hard to jump again. It's hard to run. That quick twitch muscle in there. It's very hard. It took me. That was the hardest part about learning how to walk again, because I was in a major accident years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the hardest part, was once they redid my Achilles.
Your lateral movement is pretty much compromised forever, too.
Oh yeah. There is no left, right. I am a very slow moving. I'm 41 now, but
wow.
After I had all that done, that ankle, I couldn't even go on skates. Mike's like, hey, let's go ice skating. Okay, cool. Nope. I had no that ankle.
Wow. What about his ability to be able to with the jump shot? His jump shot's gorgeous. How does this affect that? And so
it's going to affect it'll affect the vertical, unless modern medicine's changed tremendously since my injury, but that's going to be one of those it's going to take a while to recover. You don't just bounce back from this. An ACL is easier to come back from than an Achilles.
Wow. That's saying something.
So with an ACL injury is easier than an Achilles. Yeah, that's big.
It took my daughter tore hers playing football 7 years ago. She was walking in 6 weeks.
And the one thing about it, he's young. Look at Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago. He was 39, and when he tore his Achilles.
Oh God!
And he finally said at the middle of last year, he finally felt better. And this is the middle of last year.
I'm
So about a year and a half's worth, he had this suffered.
Bless you.
Carrie, I'm a Steelers fan, and I was trying to forget that we signed Aaron Rodgers. You just reminded me that. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Here's the other reason why that's an easier repair compared to ACL to Achilles is you can take a cadaver ligament and repair your Achilles.
Really? Okay.
Not your Achilles, but your ACL.
Interesting. Very.
Your Achilles has to. You can't swap that out.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, I hate this. The rehab's going to be a bitch too. I mean, it really is. And the fact that you know who I respected his game. I wouldn't say I was a Reggie Miller fan or whatever, but you had to respect his game. And I thought that was super cool how he was there hugging the guys in the back and, giving them encouragement, because honestly, if you were a Pacers fan, you really didn't have much to really root about since the loss to the Heat a few years ago or whatever, which was almost over a decade ago. And this was probably their most exciting team, probably their best team with a chance to win. I wouldn't call the team that lost to the Lakers a team that was a threat, but realistically, and Larry, you'd have to back me up on this one, if somehow the Pacers had found a way to beat your Bulls back that year, it's pretty much a given the Pacers beat the Jazz, don't you think? Or if they had played in the finals that year?
Yeah, because when you think about it, I mean, you had Reggie, you had Rick Smits. I'm trying to think of the other guys.
They had Mullins too. They had Mullins. They had
Jackson.
Yeah, they had him. They had one of the Fab Five. Jalen Rose was awesome. Yeah. They had Dale Davis.
You had a good core back then, and if Reggie could have got over the hump with Chicago, I think they definitely would have definitely won at least one championship. It wouldn't have taken them this long to at least get back to the finals.
Yeah,
that's kind of why I was rooting for them when they played the Lakers in the early 2000s.
Me too.
I was, nothing against the Lakers, but come on, man. Everybody, Showtime, they had been winning championships in the 80s, and you knew Kobe and Shaq was going to start winning together. So let this other team win one, So,
yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, and I was a Kings fan back in the day, and that Game 7 still hurts because I thought they had that series. That hurt. That was
the one that hurt me. The one series and the one team that hurt me. My second favorite player behind MJ was Iverson. When Philly met up with the Lakers, especially when they stole Game 1, when Iverson stepped over Tyronn Lue and all of that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. AI about to show y'all something. And Kobe showed him and Shaq, and they won the next 4. So.
Poor AI couldn't do it by himself, and Dikembe just was no match for Shaq down low. I remember that series. So damn, that was
James,
25 years ago. Yeah.
James, I remember that 2002 series with Sacramento and the Lakers. They lost that series in Game 4 too. All they had to do was snag one rebound.
That's it.
And Robert Horry, of all the people to leave wide open, his big shot Bob, and when he larried that 3, that was Sacramento's best chance. They could have gone up 3-1,
and that would have been it. And you want to know something? The sad part about it is, as far as I'm concerned, guys, and we'll move on. The thing that I
and that franchise
remember from that year, I remember from that year, that was the finals as far as I'm concerned. No disrespect to the Nets, they were so outclassed. It was such a boring sweep, and
Sacramento's never been the same since that moment.
They really have
not recovered. Nope,
they've never recovered.
That was a devastating loss. That's kind of like the Falcons blowing that lead to the. They have not been the same ever since then. They really haven't, So, but anyway. Yeah. Well, the big news over the weekend, before we even got to Game 7, was that the Rockets. And let me just tell you this. I know that it has been 30 years since they have won a championship. But for the love of God, I mean, why did they give up as much as they did for a 37-year-old player? If KD was 27, I could see it.
Yeah.
But no disrespect, man. This guy is not even the same guy he was 3 years ago, let alone 10 years ago.
Nope.
He's not.
I hate to say that Jalen Green made this trade easy, because in the Warriors series, you scored 36 in Game 2. You combined for 35 points the rest of the series. He made it easy for them to make this deal.
Yeah.
He made it easy for him.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. Now Phoenix, which was going to do a damn rebuild anyway, has a plethora of picks to use or trade for whatever they want to do. I mean, Shane, I know you're not an NBA fan, but think about this in an NFL type of sense. Would you really give up this many draft picks that are so? I mean, guys,
not for a 37-year-old player on the downside of his career who has been on multiple teams throughout his career.
Yep.
And he's a crybaby too.
He just doesn't fit in with anyone.
He's a crybaby. His mom had to defend him to Stephen A. Smith. That's pretty bad. No disrespect, but you know what I mean. It's like I remember that garbage.
I'm looking at the grades they're giving for the trade so far. Right now, they're giving the Rockets a B+.
A B+. I would have given them a D+ or whatever for that.
Well,
I mean,
they gave up second-round picks. It's not like they only gave up one first round, which was this year.
You know, I'm just going to say this, and look, I know you all aren't Miami Heat fans, but I'm glad Miami did not make that trade because they really were wanting this Ware kid that has just been in the system a year. He has high upside at center. He's the draft pick out of Indiana that went to Miami, and they wanted him, and it's like, dude, you're not going to take all of our pieces or what have you, you know? I mean, and I'm just glad that Miami just said, thanks, but no thanks, and they'll take whatever they can get at this point. But you cannot be handcuffed to a guy that maybe has 2 years left in him, if he doesn't want to quit and walk. And you could have gotten, and you've got kids that are salivating at this opportunity, whether they're first or second round picks, that might be your diamond in the rough, like a Haliburton that you could draft and have hopefully 15 years with him. I mean,
Kevin Durant to me is the NBA's version of Aaron Rodgers. Past his prime, diva, still holding on for whatever reason, trying to play, still thinking he can play at a high level. And I'm not being disrespectful, but KD, your best days are done. He's trying to command himself like he's a focal guy, a guy that should be a focal point of an offense, a focal point of a team. When you are now at the point where you should be in a supporting role.
He's not even going to draw a good double team at this point.
Yeah.
I love that. So he's not. I mean, God.
Did you see how many picks the Grizzlies got?
That was a good trade. The Desmond Bain deal for Orlando. Hey, with the way the East is shaping up right now, that's a great move.
Yes, and now look at this. I mean, there's with Haliburton gone for the year, Tatum's out for the year with the Celtics. I mean, it's wide. You don't know what's going to happen with Giannis. This East is wide open. It really is. And I'm going to tell you this. Don't sleep on the Magic, man. Paulo Banchero and that young group down there, they got something cooking. I think they might be a team. And you know, that's always been a team that just has always been close, but right when their guys start getting good, they go to other teams and help win championships and so forth. So, you know, they're due. I mean, it's just they just had bad luck of when they've gotten the pieces, but this might open up to them finally. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong with that.
I'm just praying that Chicago can take advantage of this because Kobe White is the future for the Bulls.
Yeah,
Giddey came on. He was kind of streaky, but he had a good showing against LeBron.
Where are they picking tomorrow night?
Shane, do you got that in front of you by any chance?
I don't know.
Do you have the draft order tomorrow night of where everybody's going to be and so forth? I can look it up real quick. So,
want to do the mock draft or you just want to see the picks?
I want to see the picks actually because of what teams, because that could lead us into the NBA draft that I did want to speak about. It's 2 nights now, so they're going with the NFL route.
I've got it up here right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about it because everybody knows Cooper Flagg's going number 1 tomorrow to Dallas, but you know who goes next? Some I've heard it might be Harper's kid going number 2. I've seen Ace Bailey, his teammate at Rutgers.
That's who I'm hearing.
I've also seen VJ Edgecombe and so forth. It just depends on what they're looking for. So
ESPN's got obviously Flagg going first, Dylan Harper second to the Spurs, Edgecombe to the Sixers, I gave her Nupple from Duke to the Hornets.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
Spears to the Jazz. Bailey to the Wizards. Come on,
Maluwak. Yeah, Maluwak. Yeah, from Africa. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see. Nets get Trey Johnson. Raptors, Noah Asingwe.
And just think the Nets right there, that's pick number 1 for them before they get 4 more in the first round. So
yeah.
Go figure. So
yeah. Carter Bryant to the Suns via Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Jakunis from Illinois to the Blazers.
Yep.
Bulls get Murray Boyles. South Carolina. Hawks get Edgar Dimon from BYU. Spurs for their second pick from Atlanta get Berringer. Do they need another center?
I don't think they do. But unless they draft that for somebody else at that position for another team and they do a trade, that could be that. So
easily.
Yeah. The Thunder get Derek Queen out of Maryland.
He'd be a nice compliment coming off the bench. He's a high volume scorer. He could come off the bench and spell SGA.
Let's see. Grizzlies get Cedric Coward out of Washington State / Duke. Timberwolves get Sorber from Georgetown. There's a lot of centers going.
Yeah, this is a center draft.
Danny Wolf to the Wizards from Michigan. Asa Newell from Georgia to the Nets. The Heat get Liam McNeely.
That would be a great pick for them. Damn, from Connecticut, that would be a great pick. So, yeah.
Utah with Hugo Gonzalez from the EuroLeague. The Nets, Nolan Traore from France. Pelicans, Walter Clayton Jr. out of Florida. Thunder get Will Riley out of Illinois. Magic get Jace Richardson from Michigan State. Nets get Nick Clifford from Colorado State. Nets again. Rasheer Fleming from St. Joseph's. Celtics, Maxime Reynaud from Stanford. Phoenix Suns, Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton, another center. Clippers, Noah Pinda from France. And that concludes your first round.
Well, tell you one thing that I find interesting, Larry, and back me up on this. Last year seemed to be the story of the foreign players. This year, you've got a slew of homegrown one and dones here in America that are going to dominate that top 10. To be honest with you.
But I still don't like the structure of how these one and dones are, because
I don't like it either.
I just feel like they're not developed for the pro game. You know, and listen, everybody isn't a Kobe Bryant. Everybody isn't a Kevin Garnett. Everybody, I just don't understand. You know, these guys came straight out of high school and they were phenoms and they were special. But then, if you're not that type of a player, if you do 1 year in college and you get a decent draft grade, you have to understand the NBA. I mean, that's the problem that I have with and I know LeBron had everything to do with it, but with Bronny getting picked.
Yeah.
Bronny came out of USC averaging 4 points a game. Bronny should have ready. He was not ready. And the thing that I hated about that situation last year was, if I was LeBron, and this is where, as great as he is as a person, as legendary as he is as a basketball fan, as a father, I have an issue with what he did with his kid, because he's coming into a league, into a game that you know that you are a master of. You know what it takes to be successful firsthand. And because you want to be able to say you were the first father-son duo to play in the league, you just go ahead and bring him into the Wolves, knowing you're going to be retiring in the next year or two, when you knew Bronny could have transferred. He could have went to Duquesne with his old high school coach. LeBron's old high school coach is the coach of Duquesne.
Yep.
Bronny could have went to Duquesne, a school where you wouldn't have had all of that pressure, and honed his basketball skills. Because honestly, if you look at what he did in the G League, he's got potential.
Mm-hmm.
He could shoot a three. He could definitely shoot a three pretty much better than his dad, I would say.
Yeah.
And he overcame that heart issue too. I mean, that was
Yes. So,
in what other world will we ever see this where somebody has a heart issue get drafted?
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's almost like the kiss of death.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
almost kind of the kiss of death for an athlete. You have
they won't touch you for blood clots. Oh my God, yeah, they won't touch you.
Well, I mean, let's go back in time. I mean, a heart issue, I think, robbed us of a possible good player with Hank Gathers.
Yep, I remember. I still remember.
I will never forget that. Hank Gathers died March 4th, 1990, on my 13th birthday.
Wow.
I remember watching that live, and I thought he was great. I thought he could have been. Him and another player that I love, Len Bias.
Len Bias
would have been would have been Jordan's rival. Jordan's rival.
If Len Bias would have lived, as much as I hate to say this, Boston would have been the dynasty. There may not have been Detroit winning those back-to-backs in Chicago.
It would have been
Jordan may not have even stayed in Chicago. He may have started the trend that you see with LeBron and got traded somewhere else.
Exactly.
So he didn't win because Len Bias, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish.
Disgusting. Disgusting amount of talent right there.
You could have actually seen an undefeated NBA team with that lineup.
I probably.
Yeah.
And they all would have played. There would have been no the managing of the minutes. Remember that.
Oh yeah, they would have played all 82.
Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge.
Oh
God,
that team would have been nasty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were.
I remember watching Len Bias in college in North Carolina one time, scoring 48 points in the Dean Dome in front of Dean Smith. Dean Smith tried anybody and everybody to guard him, and nobody could guard him. He said it was the greatest thing.
He's the greatest player from Maryland, and their history of all their stuff. He is their guy.
And they've had great players.
They have had great players.
Yeah. Let's think what the GOAT conversation would be had he had that uneventful night.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the whole history of the NBA goes different
would have changed.
That way. So yeah,
would have changed
for sure. So but you're talking about this draft, and there's some great players in this draft, and I know not everybody's going to be successful, and Larry, to talk about the point you brought up a few minutes ago, who is the next face of the NBA that they're going to try to market behind? Because if you think about it, you do have some nice players, but some guys either can't handle the pressure or they do stupid stuff on the court or off the court rather. They don't do what's being told of them. And realistically, I'm kind of surprised that no one has really established themselves. Now, could it be Ant-Man? Could it be Ant-Man as the next guy? I don't know, but there's got to be somebody that really just takes the league by storm. And I don't know. I'm waiting to see who it is. And it might be somebody we least expect, because the ones that they've put on the Slam covers, unfortunately, there's almost like what was it, the Madden jinx that it used to be?
Yep.
If you were on the cover of Madden, it's almost like if you're on the cover of Slam, you're doomed or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Madden curse is basically gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madden curse is gone. So yeah.
Ant-Man, I think, is the closest to being the next face of the league because of just what he did this year.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to be the face.
Was that?
He doesn't want to be the face of the league.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't want to be it, but if the league wants you to be it, they're going to push you to be it one way or the other. See, Giannis could have been the face of the league, but for whatever reason, it looks like Giannis is starting to take a step back. He's not, what he should be, what I thought he would have been, And there's the injuries now. Jason Tatum, Haliburton.
Yep.
You got two young guns right there that could have been the face of the league, but you don't know how they're going to come back from their respective injuries. Zion, but he's around here, banging porn stars and getting legal troubles and stuff. So
and not eating right with all that money and couldn't get a nutritionalist or something. I got one for you guys. I've got one for y'all. talking about the Magic, could Paolo Banchero be that guy?
Yeah,
He was the number 1 pick. Could he? I mean, here Holmgren was the 3rd pick and, got that title first and sat out that first year. But Paolo was Rookie of the Year, and I think he's carried the Magic.
I will tell you who I think it will be, but it all depends on how good the team rebounds from where they are currently. If they can get back into playoff contention and the respectability.
Name drop
Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
If San Antonio, but you see, I think it's a foregone conclusion. Pop is done. Pop is not coaching anymore. He's done.
Yeah.
So if San Antonio can get back to being a good team, a playoff team, I think Wembanyama can be that. That's probably the safest bet right now, moving forward.
Yeah. I thought at the Olympics, other than the U.S. team playing great, he was the next best story of the basketball side of the Olympics.
Yeah,
right. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you guys something. I was reading an article about where they, think about this. How close were the Spurs to winning the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes? To put a 6'9" guy that they're talking at putting at the 2, and the weakness in Cooper's game was his 3-point shooting. Apparently, that's been corrected. He was killing it at the combine. Now let's see with a hand in his face, but that's a different story. But a 6'9" guy at the 2 spot. That is pretty scary to think about. And you have him and Wembanyama, good luck scoring had the Spurs gotten that. Now, what do the Spurs do with that 2 pick? Do they go with Harper or do they go with VJ Edgecombe? I think they should go. If they need a point guard, they should go with VJ Edgecombe. That's who they should go with, honestly. So, and here's the other thing, too. You have a possibility that all 5 guys that were on Montverde are going to be drafted in this draft, with potentially 4 of them in the first round. I mean, what a scary team that was, or what have you. They did their 1 year in college, and they're all going to get drafted. And if Shane says McNeely goes to the Heat, what a great situation for him. I mean, honestly. So, yeah. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting draft.
San Antonio signing Chris Paul, San Antonio, if you draft a guard, Chris Paul will be a good teacher to teach him how to be a pro, and how to handle the NBA game. He wouldn't have a better teacher than Chris Paul.
You're right about that. No, you're definitely right about that. So, I do want to just bring it up very quickly. The college baseball World Series ended. LSU won 2 games out of 3, and the SEC dominance 6 out of the last 7 years now. And again, another national champion coming from the conference of the SEC in a major sport like college baseball. They won it in softball. They won it in college basketball with the Gators. Realistically, Georgia could have been that winner if they had been completely healthy. I still think they beat Ohio State, but that's here nor there. But the point of it that I'm trying to make is this conference is a contender in any sport, whether it is at this point. And
don't forget gymnastics. They won the gymnastics too. And Arkansas has won the track and field. Won the ladies track and field.
Look at that. So, I'm just saying that the SEC ain't going away anytime soon. And furthermore,
not just that, not to cut you off, but not just that. LSU ain't going nowhere because Jay Johnson, this is only his 4th season, and he's already got 2 World Series because he won 2 years ago. And from what I've been hearing locally on radio and media down here, they're gonna have some turnover.
Yep, but they'll reload.
You're gonna have a couple of guys go to the pros, to the draft. A couple of guys will hit the portal. But LSU has a core.
Yeah,
they said that they ain't going nowhere as far as what they're gonna do. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with for some time.
This is true.
They're gonna reload. Tennessee's already reloading. If you out of the portal, South Carolina.
You got
to think of all the teams. Arkansas is probably the one that's probably hurting the most because Arkansas had LSU.
They did. They did. That was heartbreaker. That was heartbreak central, right?
They had them.
And Lou made the wrong decision. Get the double play. They knock LSU until you have a winner-take-all game Friday. He chooses to go to 3rd. And he had enough time to get the double play.
And then that's it. And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I want to go back to the game, by the way, that LSU won. What in the hell was the Coastal Carolina coach thinking? Gets himself thrown out in the first inning, and then the first base coach or the third base coach, whichever, he follows his ass right out. The most important game, and you're both gone.
I also
And
think the umpires jumped the gun.
you know
Because
they
The
it was
umpire
supposed
tripped
to
over his own
yeah.
feet and made an ass of himself in front of everyone, and had to justify, like, oh, he hit me. You're going, like, oh, come on, man.
And he didn't even hit him. It was his old guy trying to hold it back, and he fell after that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this: the umpires in the college baseball
We're
playoffs
horrible. We're terrible.
were atrocious. I mean, they get an F if I'm giving them a grade. Like throwing the kid out from Duke or whatever that celebrated. That was stupid. I mean, here's the interesting thing too. You know, Duke won that first game and then lost the two games that he could play in, and then their coach goes to Virginia for more money. I mean, can you imagine? Like this is the world we live in, Shane. Now, where that's it. You know, I mean, players going to rival schools, coaches going to in-conference schools. I mean, welcome to the wild, wild west of college sports now. Honestly, that's all I got to say about it.
I think that was some big school bias though, because you got LSU. You know, they just won their 8th championship in program history, school history, versus the College of Charleston. If I'm the skippers over there at the College of Charleston, I'm gonna pretty much check my emotions because I don't stand a chance against a college baseball blue blood like LSU or anybody, you know, from the SEC or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and not to mention the game could have gone either way. I mean, this kid from LSU that pitched the first game that's going to be in the pros. I mean, complete game. What 10-hitter he threw? I mean, it was 1-0 was the final score, so it was
a great
just
game.
a battle.
It was a well played game.
Two aces going against each other. You just snuck one run on them, and you know, I mean, here's the other thing: the second game ended in the score of 5-3. But if you're the manager and the first base coach and you're available all 9 innings, maybe you can scheme a little bit better and force a game 3. You just cannot get your ass thrown out or pick up a technical or any sport for that matter when you know you're in that type of situation. That's just my opinion more than anything.
And LSU got hot at the right time because in the SEC tournament they struggled against Little Rock. They struggled against Little Rock.
That's right. In the regional, they struggled big time.
Yeah. In the regional, I'm sorry. Yes, in the regional, they struggled against Little Rock. And then when they get into the CWS, they had that heart thumper against Arkansas. They just got hot at the right time.
They did.
So, you know,
they pitched.
They were beatable. They were beatable.
They pitched so well, man.
Yeah.
Their pitching was just top notch.
I got one for you guys real quick. With the college baseball, me and my buddy, we talked about this. You know, you had Arkansas and LSU that was like the first game. They were like the national seeds that made it.
Yep.
Do you think they should have reseeded when they got to the College World Series?
Yes.
Because then that's like a 1 and 2, and then they're on opposite ends of the bracket. You know what I mean? Like that could be a possibility.
The problem that I think they ran into is that the SEC is so good, and so many teams from the SEC are going to make it.
Yeah.
You're going to get a minimum of at least 3 SEC teams every year, and that's the minimum.
That's the minimum.
You could probably go 4.
Yeah.
And they were counting on that. They were counting on that in Omaha. They were counting on that.
Yes.
That's why the ratings, they came out with the ratings. They were lower this year than they were for the last 5 years.
But guess what? They said it on the radio this afternoon. The national championship series between LSU and Charleston was the highest rated series of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had a traditional power
and Cinderella.
That works every time.
Yeah.
It works every time.
It's just like March Madness when you have, like, what was it? Florida
exactly.
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah. You know, the crazy thing is that I'll leave it with this, is that you guys bring up a really great point, and Shane said it best. They set the record for how many teams in both the college basketball tournament and the college baseball tournament. And that's just going to be the norm. I think that what you're also going to get is because they beat the shit out of each other throughout the year. do you even have anything left? Props to LSU that they did have something left, in the tank or what have you. But it's a lot of baseball to be playing. And, you're not going up against the Little Sisters of the Poor. Every weekend counts pretty much.
Right.
I mean, that's
Yes,
what
it
it
does.
is. So, yeah, But that's that. Well, let's get to our WWE talk, guys. If anybody was paying attention Friday night, John Cena's pipe
That was
bomb promo. Oh my God, the names that he dropped on that. If you guys hadn't seen it, watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But oh my God, and CM
Is that true? I missed it. Is that true?
Oh,
He started talking about AEW
You
names.
need to watch it. You need to watch it. Yes,
Larry,
he
you
did.
gotta watch it. Oh my God,
You gotta
Larry.
watch it.
Oh, Larry, he ran people down like a lawnmower, honestly. And CM Punk had his finger in his own ass and didn't say anything. Like I don't know if he was told not to say nothing or what, but CM Punk even looked like a retard on that. I mean, he really did. He was stupid. He was like,
wow.
Yeah. He had his finger in his own ass. He didn't know what to do. Like Cena and you see, that's what it is. I know we have all been disappointed with Cena's heel run and no one worse than me. But at this point, though, it's little tidbits like that it's not going to be a complete fail. It's little things like that. Like when he turned on Cody at the pay-per-view or when, he went at Cody right off the bat leading up to WrestleMania. But guys, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm just appreciating that we have him because you talk about who's going to be the next torchbearer of the MJs and the Kobes in the NBA. Who is this guy that's going to be the face of the WWE that's great on the mic, has the look, and, makes you want to spend your hard-earned dollar on their merc and to go see him live? That's the question. And they don't make him like that guy no more. They really don't.
Go ahead.
I'll go real quick, Kerry. But I think I have a hunch who the next big thing will be. Yeah. I mean, Fatu. I'm going with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu. He's in line because the fans love him.
Are you guys surprised
LA
that
night
they have
for me.
put that? Are you guys surprised they've put that right away? The Solo Sikoa and the Fatu. I thought that they were at least going to drag that out to SummerSlam. I'm shocked that it's come to a head now. So,
they had to. Yeah. They had to because here's the thing. I don't think Jacob intended for his popularity to take off the way that it did. He didn't do that on purpose. Because I think they intended for Jacob to roll with Solo for a good long haul, at least in the next year into Rumble season, WrestleMania season, and then maybe set something up in the Rumble. But Jacob's popularity is just contagious. Like, how can you not like him? So they had to do it. I'm just wondering how they're gonna, twist this because I saw that Haku's other son. His adoptive son, Hakuleo, they said, or Hakulio, I think. I don't know how to say his name. The big tall one, the big 6'6" one.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was at the house show for SmackDown, so he's signed with the company. So he's coming, So I don't know how they twist this though, because
I don't either.
I think him and LA Knight. I agree with you with Jacob, but I think him and LA Knight. LA Knight. I think they're heading him towards next year's WrestleMania. He's going to win the Royal Rumble in January. It would not surprise me one bit because he should have won Money in the Bank.
He should have, but for whatever reason, I just don't think Triple H likes LA Knight. I think for whatever reason, with Triple H, okay, there's a reason why Triple H has always favored Seth Rollins. Always. And for whatever reason, LA Knight just kind of gets the short end of the stick. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and they give him that push because LA Knight, to me, needs to be the next one. I think with Cena retiring and Randy on the downside at the twilight of his career and everybody tired of Cody and the way they've done Jay, they're going to pretty much put Jay back with his brother back to the tag team ranks and all of that. LA Knight, if not Jacob Fatu, has to be your choice to be the one going forward. But we're talking about Triple H here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's also remember Vince McMahon didn't like Steve Austin either.
Yeah, Shane, what did you say? I'm sorry. What did you say, Shane?
Triple H sees too much of The Rock in LA Knight.
That's it. That's my theory too. And you want to know something, Larry? Yep. I've always felt that Seth Rollins is Triple H before Triple H roided up, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Type of a thing.
Yep.
He was slender like him. He had the long hair. It was like what Hunter Hearst Helmsley should have gotten had the curtain call not happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I've always felt. Yeah. You know, but and you're right about that when you mentioned about the Stone Cold, you know, not liking him or whatever. I mean, I always thought Dean Ambrose had a lot of Stone Cold in him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I always thought that. So, and that's why Dean had to go to AEW. But realistically, the name drops that Cena did the other night was hilarious.
Yeah, Larry, you got to watch it, man.
You have to watch it. I mean, I think it's like, I mean, it's 15 minutes long, but you're glued to what he says. And the fans ate it up. They ate every.
I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing. I saw clips of it where CM Punk was in the table, just knocked out, and Cena sitting on the turnbuckle.
He might as well have teabagged him while he laid there. Honestly, that's how bad it was, guys.
He even took a shot at USA in that one.
He did. He took a shot at USA. He said, "I'm giving you the 2 minutes back because I'm done talking." And he threw the mic. Like, I mean, yeah.
Mother fudging something.
Mother fudging something. Oh,
in a way, this kind of legitimized this run that he's on.
It did. It had to.
I still think we're seeing actually real Cena is what I think we're seeing.
Oh,
yeah. I agree.
With the names that he dropped or whatever,
that was awesome.
There was some insinuations there that it's like, yeah, I pretty much probably did your girls in real life, whether you were thinking about it or not. I mean, there were some names that were dropped that I was like, yeah, okay. Those were shots, so yeah.
Well, he ain't got nothing to lose because he's on his way out anyway. So,
he does it.
He can care less, you know. He can care less.
Yeah, listen. Here we go. Wait a minute. I love that. Yeah, it was classic.
It was classic.
CC for life. He also asked. They said Dean coming back. Is that true? I've been waiting for it. I mean, I don't know. I think he's happy with AEW. You know, him and Renee Morgan are still kind of together doing their thing. I think that ship has sailed, to be honest with you. And you're right about this one. They definitely screwed Jay. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, if Jay, you know, hollered at Stephanie or something, I don't know. I have no idea why this guy was.
Why put him in the King of the Ring tournament if you knew you weren't going to give him a chance to win it and get a shot to go back against Gunther? I mean, I'm still mad at what you did, taking the title off of him so you can get this damn Goldberg Gunther match.
Yeah, we already know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some thoughts about that, and here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Goldberg wins the title, retires, and then they have a tournament, and then Jay wins the tournament. That's the theory that I have. That Jay beats Gunther in the tournament to win back.
Nothing would surprise me, especially if you guys are saying about this whole tanking thing that they're trying to do, so Vince McMahon could buy back. You want to lose a billion viewers? Do that, honestly.
If you notice, look at the belt. When Gunther holds the belt, they have not changed Jay Uso's nameplates.
They haven't?
His belt. They have not.
I have to look for that now.
I had to do a double take the other night to make sure they have not changed his nameplate off the belt.
And I saw a documentary. It was a Jay Uso documentary for WrestleMania that documented everything leading up to it. And after he won the championship in the back, in the hallway in the back, they changed the plates.
They usually do that with new champions. They change your nameplates that very night.
Yeah, Triple H actually used to take pride and get off on it. He said about going back there to take that plate off and putting his on there. That's what he used to say. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know, guys. I mean, like I said, you know what, Kerry, the sad part is that I could actually now see Goldberg winning that damn match. I mean, he squashed damn Brock Lesnar, and they didn't get. And Brock was supposed to be untouchable. So why not ruin Gunter as well?
It's in his hometown of Atlanta.
Oh Jesus! Oh my gosh! If this
in his last match,
in his hometown in Atlanta.
Listen, and remember what the announcer said the other night? I think who was it? Corey Graves, or they were talking to Michael Cole, if I'm not mistaken. And no, I think a question was asked to Goldberg, or what would happen if you win? Somebody said something, because I was like,
it was the Goldberg and Michael Cole interview, because he said it last night after they showed the footage. Was what happens if you is this your last match? Yes.
Yes.
Well, what happens if you win? Well, we shall see.
Yep.
Yeah. That little line right there leaves a window of opportunity that he possibly may win it. Now, if he wins it, just like if CM Punk, I don't think it'll happen, but if CM Punk were to take the title off of Cena, either or, Seth Rollins is cashing in that night on somebody.
Goldberg.
It would make more sense to cash in on Goldberg.
That wouldn't surprise me a bit.
And have Braun Breaker or one of those guys distract him while
have the goons come out after Goldberg wins the match and all of that. Have the goons have Braun Breaker come out, have Big Bronson Reed come out, double team him. Maybe have the surprise fourth member of the stable. Because they said there is a fourth one at some point. He comes out and do it, and then Seth cashes in, and then there you go.
Well, I think one Money in the Briefcase will be cashed this week. I think Naomi is going to cash hers in because the last woman standing match with Tiffany and Nia is Friday night. She's cashing it in on somebody because someone's going to be incapacitated just perfect enough for Naomi to come down and cash it. Naomi's going to be champion by the weekend.
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think they're writing it to where Naomi wants to cash it in and Nia's every time she's like, no, you're not going to do this? Like, because I watched it last week when she did that. And I'm thinking to myself, Nia, who the hell do you think you ought to tell somebody that has the briefcase that they can't cash in? You know?
Because for SummerSlam, I really believe they're setting up Naomi versus Jade. And that's when this storyline really gets cooking with Bianca Belair turning heel.
Yes. Because they said Bianca should be back for SummerSlam.
Exactly.
And she's not advertised to be in any matches or anything. So if she's coming back, she's got to come back and make an appearance to interfere in a match. I'll be damn. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Nick Khan needs to offer us some writing contracts, man, to give us some of that money because we can make it happen.
Well, the four of us always do that. Shane, what are your thoughts about this upcoming pay-per-view, by the way? I mean, is there any match that you kind of are looking forward to? I mean, I'm actually looking forward to the Punk Cena match. One last time, why not?
Really the only one that I'm interested in. Like, I'll watch the whole thing, but that's what one's gonna be like, okay, like I'm gonna be glued to my TV.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that I remember a card we
they're not as enjoyable to watch right now.
They're not.
You don't have the huge big name matches like we used to get.
Let me ask you guys this, and Shane, for you being ex-military, let me ask you this. Not to go political, but with everything that just happened and the possibility that, because I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that they had WWE producers over there that were stranded at the airport. Is it a strong possibility that this pay-per-view may be canceled? I mean, WWE saying it's full speed ahead, but how's all that work with these military strikes and all that being in the region?
So, it's become pretty much like a no-fly zone right now throughout most of the Middle East. You don't just take millionaires over there just to be like, oh, hey, we're still going to do this. Like, I mean, they did some USO stuff for us back in the day, but you don't take your whole roster over there. Just who cares if Saudi Arabia is your biggest money backer right now? They get to pretty much control what they want to do with everything. But when we're on the brink of World War III, that ceasefire hasn't necessarily stopped after what I saw today on the news. I don't do it. Like, I back up, punt, find somewhere. I don't know. Like, you ain't gonna get ticket sales or anything like that. But
I mean, I think that you could postpone the event. I mean, at least until later this year, when if it does get better or not.
I think it's too volatile to send anybody over there right now with what's going on.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah,
you literally just shut down one of the major air bases out there.
Mm-hmm.
They also got hit the other night. Like, I've got buddies who've gone over there because that's where we used to go for all of our R&R when we were deployed, especially if you were there for a while. Like, that base that shut down, shit.
Not to get too political or whatever, but like I like Saudi Arabia. I mean, I've always heard about them. They just like their money, their oil and all that stuff. I don't really ever see them get involved in these conflicts and stuff like that. I mean, they would almost be committing like I don't know, like if another country over there committed like that, you're pretty much possibly screwing with the majority of the world's oil at that. I don't know.
But
Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
but the thing
so,
about that is the Saudis are cool.
yeah,
It's the Iranians
that always
that are pissed.
death
and
to
the
everybody.
Exactly. And the Iranians don't give a damn who they go after. And
They were
what happened?
They were literally shooting missiles over a whole country to hit another country.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they don't discriminate. They go after everybody equally.
and that's why I was wondering the timing of everything, because the strikes happened literally 7 days prior to the PLE. And the first thing I thought about before it even hit, I'm like, wait a minute. Our Americans are going to be over there in the region. Yeah, this might not be a good idea. That might want to put a pause on this thing. Listen, move it to Vegas. You love taking WrestleMania from New Orleans. You took it from us, goddammit. Take another.
Put everything in Vegas. Yeah. So, I mean, shit. Yeah.
Well, one match already got canceled because of that, and I guess they work it into the storyline. Dominic's supposed to be injured, but we don't know what the injury is. And him and AJ Styles, they can't. I think both of them did not want to go.
And I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm thinking a lot of these. And listen, if you terminate these superstars because they don't want to go because they don't feel safe, you're setting yourself up to get sued. First of all,
Big time.
You know, now will the retaliation come with them taking the strap off of Dominic? I don't know. It'll be stupid, but then again, this is Triple H we're talking about. You know, because Dominic has all of the heat right now. Everybody loves him right now.
I think he likes Dominic having all the heat. Dominic, because Liv Morgan ain't there right now.
I know, and
that's and that was a freak accident.
It was, and I felt bad for her too because they had that pay-per-view planned for her. She ain't even going to be wrestling. She's going to be recovering that. CC for Life writes, I heard that Cena's going to turn babyface real soon.
That wouldn't surprise me.
We'll see about him turning face. I wouldn't be surprised because I just would be very doubtful that the heel turn, goes the whole year. I think SummerSlam is going to be where maybe he turns on The Rock, or if The Rock even gets involved or whatever. I don't know. I mean, who knows at this point?
I will tell you the perfect way for this to happen right here. Cody Rhodes.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Cody Rhodes beats Randy, setting up his choice of who he wants to fight for a title at SummerSlam. He invokes his rematch from WrestleMania. Cena comes in, and then Cody turns heel on Cena. Cody does to Cena what Cena did to him at WrestleMania. Because remember, Cody didn't want to hit him with the belt. Cody turns heel, conks Cena with the belt or low blow or whatever, takes the title, and now all of a sudden, all of the fan sympathy goes to John Cena. People start, because Cody Rhodes turning heel would really turn the wrestling world upside.
It'd be fresh for his character. I think he's a better heel than he is a face. I've always said that.
I thought when they had that face-off last Friday night, and Cody didn't say a word, and he just kind of had that devilish grin. I was looking for something to happen then. Last night after he beat Jay, when he went to pick Jay up, I thought he was going to cheap shot him then.
Yeah, it looked like
you can feel it coming. It's coming. It's
going to be somebody.
But you know what would make that even better? If The Rock were there and The Rock puts his hand out like this, and then goes this.
Yeah.
And looks at Cody and does this.
What if Cody's number 4 in that stable?
You know what? That would be something.
Now,
if Cody is the 4th. Like that basically he became a Paul Heyman guy. Well, here's the other thing, too. I've always said Cody's a better heel than he is a face, number one. And, the thing is, Larry, you mentioned it. When me and Shane were at SmackDown a few weeks ago, I loved. We got serious business picking up. We got a 5th panelist coming on. One of the OG hosts about to join us. If he gives me the thumbs up, I'm bringing him on, obviously. But I do. You ready? Yeah. But real quick to finish my thought, when he told him about, polishing each other off in the back, that was kind of the start of Cody being heel. So, but yeah. But anyway, let me bring him on because he's been traveling. You know him as the co-host and co-founder of Rebels with a Cause, Mr. 2003 West himself, the voice of the Rebels and Running Rebels and Panthers and Lady Panthers. The one, the only, two-pair Tate. Brian Tate, what is up, baby? How you doing?
What's going on? Hey, Stallion, is there any way that you can flip my, like, where I can just turn it to be like
Let
you
me
guys?
see if I can do that. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if I have that.
It might be because there's 5 of us.
There
on
might
the
be
thing.
because there's 5 of us. That
So
might
it's gotta
be
be
it.
there.
If you're on your phone, it's going to do it that way.
Yeah, and I think, are you on your phone or your computer on this one? So
that's probably why it's doing
that's
that.
probably why it's like
Oh,
that.
you're on
Because
your
if you had
phone,
it the other way, I think you would be like us or what have you. So, but we're
Yeah.
all on computer, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I know I can't talk because we're filming, but Carrie, Larry Frank, I caught some of your show this week.
They gave him a shout out. They gave you a shout out, two-pair. I mean, I loved it. So yeah.
Shane, yes, thick white girls do make the world go round. I agree with you.
Shane, can you say that for them so they can hear that in case they didn't see you on Facebook? Go ahead.
That's great.
Say it. Don't be shy.
Let me read that verbatim. Hold on.
But no, I want shout out my man Curry. I want to give Curry his kudos. I've never been able to do this. If there was a big high school game, 9 times out of 10, Curry was working security of all the times like I played, from the times that I didn't play, the times that I announced, from grad to undergrad. I've literally seen this man at every big game, and it's not a big game if Curry wasn't working security. So that's why if Curry was on security, you knew it was a big game. And I hate that I got to be short this week, but we're doing a whole bunch of filming, and I'm running back between Venue 31, Smash Mouth. So I got a lot of stuff going on right now.
How's the filming going, two-pair?
How's it going, man?
It is sexy women out tonight.
So my quote from the other day: all I need is a white girl with a booty and thick thighs.
There you go.
There you go, man. There you go, baby.
So in other words, let's just call it like it is. So in other words, there's going to be a lot of standing ovations going on tonight, right?
Applause.
You know, and when I say standing ovations, I mean it's going to be a lot of clapping of. Anyway, moving on.
That's right, clapping. So yes,
such a beautiful sound. Such a beautiful sound.
That's what makes the world go round and makes peace happen, right there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, if Iran just saw what we had here,
they'd be a lot happier. They wouldn't want to kill everybody. So
exactly.
I hate that I missed the first hour. I knew I said 10 o'clock, 10:30 was kind of be cutting it close for me because I'm having to be in charge of directing, then getting people there, and tonight. The Nelson twins who played at West, tonight is their birthday, so we're doing their birthday show.
Oh, nice.
They were on my finals team.
Well, two-pair, real quick, what was your thoughts on how the Game 7 and the finals went, and then poor Haliburton getting hurt? We got robbed of that what could have been an epic Game 7, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I want to give much props to OKC and Sam Presti for. We got to remember. He's put together what GM has drafted, or no, not drafted, but had 4 MVPs in his tenure with it. Yep. So I want to look at little notations like that. And also, this is the 9th championship in 12 years where it's somebody different.
Mm-hmm. 7 in a row.
7 in a row. Now, under David Stern, you've got about 30 years, 8 dynasties maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at stuff a little bit underneath the surface value when talking about OKC winning, because the huge factor is what happens if Haliburton doesn't get hurt.
Yep.
I think the Pacers win. I really believe that. The way that game started, I don't know.
I think the Pacers were playing with house money, and it just hurts because you look at guys like Obi Toppin, you look at guys like Miles Turner's been in a Pacers uniform for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to the pinnacle of this game, and one of the best players on the team is gone. And I liken it to what Austin Rivers said. You're seeing all these tweens in and outs and crossovers and moves and sudden impact. You're getting more players with ruptured Achilles. I think this is the 8th player this season.
Yep.
So we used to be in the age, Curry, Larry, Shane, James. We used to be in the age where you tore your ACL, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you rupture your Achilles, you're not the same player. So, and for Haliburton, let's look at it like this. He had a summer where he's a part of a gold medal team, and he just gets an A on the project. He didn't get a lot of playing time.
Yeah.
Then started the season, he is considered to be one of the most overrated players in the NBA. What does he do? He has an all-star year. They were 5 games below 500 in December.
Yep.
Like, let's look at stuff underneath the surface of, damn, for them to get to an NBA Finals Game 7, this is supposed to be a year where you just want to at least make the conference semifinals, and you get past that because you get to a conference finals. They played with house money, and kudos to Rick Carlisle and for those and TJ McConnell. Like a lot of those guys have a lot of unsung heroes. Pascal Siakam, who could have got his 2nd title on another Eastern Conference team, and he's not the guy.
Yep, he's not. He's not. I mean, I said that Haliburton, and everybody agreed before you got on. I said he was the damn story of the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the shots.
He was.
I mean, they were and I even say this, Cooper, I brought it up, not to harp on it. How different does this series go if they don't blow that game 4 with the 10 minutes to go? They had the lead at home, 10 minutes to go. And realistically, you could have wrapped it up in game 6, and you don't even talk about game 7 or this guy getting hurt. So, you
don't talk about it. And I kind of figured the way that game was playing, if OKC gets on that vaunted 9-0 run,
that was it.
It's it. Because once the shots started falling, once you started seeing the trapping at the half court, because there are certain things that Haliburton can do that McConnell can't do. There are certain things McConnell does well that Haliburton didn't. Like, let's go to the game 5, where game 5, Haliburton didn't show up. Game 6, he shows up in a way to where the game was out of hand. They only played so many minutes. But game 7, I think I go back to what Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams said on Run It Back with Beetle. They said this: if he doesn't play in game 7, he's looked upon as the scapegoat, or he's not looking for the team, he's not for the team, or he plays in it, he shows resiliency and perseverance, and you're gonna hear that conversation. So he's damned if he does and damned if he didn't. Yep. And now you're going to waste the guy's whole season because he's got a ruptured Achilles because he played.
Right.
Oh, I know. And that's what I told him. I said, the East is now wide open. You got Tatum out for the year. You got him out for the year. You don't know what Giannis is going to do. The NBA draft tomorrow night is going to be interesting to see where all these picks are going to go or who's what. And then the last thing you kind of missed out on is how much the Rockets gave up to get a very old KD at this point.
At this point, I don't give up Jalen Green.
No.
I can give up Brooks. I can give up some picks. I don't give up Jalen Green. He's still trying to figure it out. But I'm glad they didn't give up Jabari Smith.
That would have been dumb.
If they gave up Jabari Smith, you're going to learn so much by playing with KD in these 2-3 months of if KD is going to be KD, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But KD's one of the best I've ever seen play basketball ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm at that age where do I look at youth and do I look at is KD gonna help my youth become better pros? That's the kind of mindset I have if I'm bringing him to this team. But you're getting rid of a guy that can get you 25, 23, young legs. You're giving up young legs for a guy that really. And I'm gonna ask the panel a question.
Go for it.
Is KD a great leader for your team?
No,
he's never been a leader.
Nope.
He's never been a leader.
Curry?
He's never been a leader.
Never been a leader.
How has he? That's my thing. When we look at KD and you say the term leadership, Larry Frank, is he a leader in your eyes?
Far from it. Far from it. Because if you look at and real quick, if I'm KD, I'm probably feeling like a slug watching Oklahoma City win that championship because when you were there with James Harden, with Russ, you could have done the same thing. Even though you lost, even though you got I don't remember, did they get swept?
They were down 3-1, and he said in the locker room, we'll get them next year. You joined the enemy the next year.
Yeah, you went to Golden State.
They were up 3-1.
They were up 3-1.
They were up 3-1 on the Warriors, and the Warriors won the last 3, and then he goes and joins the enemy.
Yeah. And then he wins rings, and then all of a sudden he thinks he's hot shit because he wins rings. You're not winning a ring without Steph and Clay and Draymond and that Warriors nucleus.
And Bob Myers and Steve Kerr and Gary, Kenny Atkinson, like all those fixtures.
Yep.
So Shane McGee, I'm gonna ask you: Is KD a leader?
No, he's never been one. The way he's gone about his whole career, the way he bounced from team to team, chasing a ring, trying to make everything about you. No.
James, is it like leadership? This is we do Rebels with a Cause to show leadership to our kids for media training.
Right.
Is he a leader?
Phenomenal, talented player. Never been the guy. Never been a leader. Never been the guy. Never will be. Never will be the guy. That'll be the knock on him.
From Brooklyn, you didn't show any type of leadership to. And it's hard because he's one of the best to ever do it. One of the best I've ever seen touch a basketball.
Oh yeah.
But that one quality for championship teams, you're bringing it to that young group, and Ime Udoka has got those guys playing. Like, they can hang teams in the West.
Two pair. I'll go a step further. I'll piggyback off of what you just said. Think about this. Look at what OKC, they finished their story. This started when they fell to the Heat with their big three. We didn't know it at the time. We knew what Durant was. We knew Westbrook, and then Harden kind of came out of nowhere. These guys got separated, and OKC did it without any of them. That is the story right there. So,
guys, this is one thing I want to say about franchises. Because I know I'm gonna be short on time, and
you're fine. And I love that you were able to come on.
Like each time I get to talk to the Scud Missile guy that I graduated with, Shane McGee, Larry Frank of Utah, and if there was a big game and I didn't see Curry, I was pissed. I was like, this ain't a big game then. It's Curry. Big game Curry. So it's crazy to even think this, but I want to put it in this. That franchise, Clay Bennett deserves a lot of praise for sticking with Sam Presti because it got bleak. It got bleak to the point. Do we remember they won like 26 games, 20-something games?
Yep.
And you would watch an OKC game and be like, who?
Yep.
You couldn't name 5 guys before SGA.
You're right.
Nope.
You couldn't. There was a period where they had CP3 and you couldn't name any other guys on the team.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Hey, one trade.
I mean, they really went through. I mean, if you were an OKC fan and you stuck it out, congratulations on what happened. On what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Think
Monday
about
night.
this.
Go
when
ahead,
they
Kurt.
made the trade, when they traded Paul George to the Clippers, SGA was a throw-in. It was originally supposed to be draft picks.
And how many
He got thrown in.
He was a throw-in.
He was a throw-in.
Yep.
One of the and I'm gonna give you some. You want to know what's
And two of those two of those draft picks turned into Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw a little bit more sauce on that. Let's talk about Paul George.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never
How
been the
funny
same.
is this? How funny is this? Playoff P, right? Playoff P. How come both these teams are playing for a finals and you don't make the playoffs, PG?
Yep.
Talk about that on the podcast.
No, we haven't. We didn't even mention him. So yeah.
That's right.
So I'm glad that I'm here and we get to talk. So let me get this right. Indiana trades Paul George to OKC.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even get to a conference finals. He goes to LA, then he goes to Philly, and these two teams that had him go to an NBA finals without him.
Mm-hmm.
Off the draft picks, he got both of them.
You can't make
Okay.
this up. You can't make that up. I mean, you just can't.
Playoff P.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Way off P.
And this Pacers
Way off
team,
P.
and this Pacers team, like I said before you jumped on, they were a no-name team, but damn, were they a fun team. I mean, they played for each other. They left it out there, man. They left it out there. You know.
I really feel sorry for a guy like TJ McConnell.
Yeah, he took it bad. Yeah, he took it hard.
You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of me cried like, damn, you hate it for a guy that he was such a difference maker throughout the entire playoffs for that group. Like, you know how they always say the missing rings on when you watch NFL Network?
Mhm.
Man, when they talk about the Indiana Pacers of 2024-25, that is one of the biggest missing rings because they weren't even expected to be there.
No.
They weren't
And they were the talk of the playoffs. I mean, nobody thought they would do what they did, you know, I mean, to anybody they faced. And they got there, damn it. And, you know, whoever mentioned Chet Holmgren, let's think about this, guys. First off, everybody kind of got thrown for a loop. Everybody thought the Magic were going to take him number one. They took Banchero. It's worked out for them. But here's the other thing, too. Holmgren got hurt and had to sit out all of last year. You didn't even know what you were going to get from him this year, and he came through. Because look at those Gonzaga guys. They've been busts, kind of. I mean, so
they ain't been the best.
They've been the best.
They put out pros, but they don't put out pros with lengthy careers.
Correct. I like that better.
He might be the one that can change the tide a little. I mean, we look at a guy like a Jeremy Pargo who he had some time in the league.
Morrison, Torioff, all of those guys.
Like there's a bunch of guys that were drafted, but
never amounted to anything.
Yeah, it's kind of.
They were great college players. You know what I mean? They were great. Like, who was that boy that played with Holmgren with the mustache a couple of years ago? And you know,
Drew Timmy.
Drew Timmy.
Him. You know, and you know, I mean, he was a great college player, but just his game didn't translate to what the pros were looking for. That's the thing.
To give you an idea, John Stockton graduated from Gonzaga before they were
Gonzaga. Exactly.
That's before they were Gonzaga. Like he was the most popular player you knew from Gonzaga.
Who's the guy on the Lakers? The Japanese guy. What's his name? He was big for them a few years ago. Yes, him. He's done pretty well. I think he's done pretty well.
He gave Tennessee fits when we saw him in that classic, but that was a change in the tide for them. But To keep it on point, you got to give a lot of credit to Sam Presti.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Sam Presti, for what it's worth, for him to be at that position and to get one, and he's been one of those executives where you're like, oh, if he's such a great executive, how come he's never won a championship? Well, look at what he put together and look what left, and they stuck with the GM. And he could have took Jabari Smith and he took Chet Holmgren.
He did.
Yep.
He did.
So look at, and no knock on Jabari. I know his father very, very well, great man. And it's no knock on Jabari, but think if they take Jabari Smith instead of Chet Holmgren. Like, Chet Holmgren just fit. He was a piece to a puzzle that fit.
Yeah, he fit perfectly.
Right.
I got a question for the panel real quick. Shane, Two-Pair, I know you might have to go, but I asked this. Could they repeat? And here's why I'm saying this. You've got the East wide open now. You've got the East wide open. You don't even know who's going to come from the East at this point. But then you've got the West now. And, depending on if some guys are available and who isn't, I mean, who is the biggest threat to OKC going back to back at this point?
The biggest threat is I'm gonna say Denver at 1. Denver is gonna be a threat. They just got to get better with their bench. You put a lot on Jokic, and you put a lot on Murray. You gotta find a guy off that second unit that is gonna be prepared to take a lot of shots. I think a lot was put on Christian Braun too, being he's been in favorable situations because he's won a championship with that group, and you don't fire your coach.
Oh, that was so stupid. Oh my God.
I've seen some dumb firings. I think that might have been that one. The
Knicks were the dumbest one.
The Knicks had to be the dumbest because you didn't have a plan when you fired the guy that got you to somewhere you hadn't been in 25 years.
And you want to know something? I know the Knicks couldn't have predicted Haliburton getting hurt, but what if they had kept Thibodeau? I think the Knicks might be your favorite in the East right now.
They would have been the favorites in the East.
But if the Knicks were smart, if you have Jay Wright in your backhand, then you make that change from Thibodeau to Wright because it's a smoother transition because you have it in your hand. It's right here for the taking to say, well, you know what? We got a guy that knows how to win a championship, and he's not going to play him like that. And now that kind of makes sense, right? You're like, oh, well, Jay Wright's coached those Villanova guys. And it don't work like that because Jay Wright is not about to leave TNT Sports or, well,
CBS.
I don't know. I think Jay Wright's still going to be with TNT during the college basketball.
NCAA. Yeah, I think he's still going to do that.
But I think
CBS too.
I think he's CBS. Yes, right. Jay Wright is with CBS. And how many championships has Jay Wright got? Two. He's a Hall of Fame coach right now.
Exactly.
Why would he want to take the burden of going to the NBA? Now, here's a different dynamic. What happens with Rick Brunson?
Yeah.
I don't know at this
What
point.
happens there?
Yeah.
That's what I want to ask.
Tooper, I already asked them. What about the Brooklyn Nets? I know that they've not had any success, but these guys got 6 picks in the first 37 picks over the next 2 days.
They got
what do they do with them?
Look, this is what they got. They got 6 picks, and the way Keon Johnson is playing this summer, I like what Brooklyn could do.
Yeah.
It's on the facts that they got 6 picks, and the way Keon Johnson has looked this summer, a lot of the guys that you saw getting a lot of burn are looking a lot like out in Utah. Jaden Springer looks amazing this summer.
Yep.
Like guys like that. Like now, what Brooklyn needs to do with those picks, I think you look at some high value guys to make a move. Like I wouldn't shop Keon because he gives you a lot of versatility off the bench. I think you keep him in the fold because you need somebody off that second unit that can be lights out. The way he's been shooting, he's shooting the cover off the ball this summer. Like I don't know what he's gotten into him with. I think playing with Cam Thomas does it to you, where you just shooting the cover off the ball.
I've got a funny, stupid scenario for you guys that I just thought of. It's not going to happen, but play with me on this one. Brooklyn's got 5 first-round picks. Are they crazy enough, dumb enough, I don't know, to give Dallas a call and say, we want Cooper, here's 5 picks to do whatever you want the rest of the first round, and get Cooper to Brooklyn for New York? I'm just throwing this out there.
You know what?
Mike Ditka with Ricky Williams, all this.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm kind of talking about right there. I mean, and they're not going to do it, but I'm just coming out with some crazy shit that would get stuff going tomorrow night. Honestly, I don't know.
I tell you this crazy scenario. I thought Cooper Flagg was going to be in DC and Flagg in DC United.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You play on that.
And then the lottery happened. If this was the NFL, that would have happened, but then the lottery happened. I mean, he could have been with Wembayama in San Antonio. Look how scary that would have been, man. I mean, we were just talking about that. Like, oh, so yeah, I mean.
Do you remember when Undertaker lost?
Yes, that would be the look.
Lost?
That's the look of the guy, or the girl that was like really like upset. Like, yeah, that is exactly.
That's what would happen if that happened. You would just see.
Is the draft in the Barclays Center tomorrow night?
Yes, it is.
Typically, it's
I mean, I don't know. Like, he's going to Dallas, but I'm just saying that there is some crazy it can't be so straightforward. I'm waiting for some shenanigans tomorrow night.
Some chaos.
So, yeah.
You're here for the chaos.
I am.
Yep.
I like it. I want a good story tomorrow night. So, I mean.
I really think Cooper. I think Cooper is going to be one of those guys that is going to fit well. Let me say this. If he's a guy that's going to be averaging 24 to 23 points with Dallas, somebody has got to say, hey, he's got the keys. Mm-hmm. I think he would come in as a 19, 20-point scorer. I think he fits what I think he would learn so much under Jake Kidd if Jake Kidd is still there.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Now, Kidd is now. I know the Knicks were trying to get Kidd, but Dallas said no thanks. And I don't know why Kidd would want to leave. You've got an opportunity here with this kid, and you got a good young lineup over there with AD and Kyrie coming back. So yeah,
I don't think Kidd wanted to get rid of Luka. I think that was more Nico doing.
Right. Yeah,
mm-hmm. That was organization.
That was Nico's point.
Yeah. And
it worked in the playoff. When you saw Luka in the playoffs, it was kind of what Nico was saying in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean,
hate the man all you want in Dallas, but it got you the #1 pick in the NBA draft.
It did. So, I mean, like I said, the Mavericks got a lot to look forward to if they can even get any, symbionts of Kyrie back before the knee, or whatever.
Yeah, and I hate that Kyrie
because if he hadn't gotten hurt, they would be a team that could probably contend right away in the West. I mean, you got a couple. I mean, they're talking about Cooper being a 2 there if they keep Washington and Lively and AD. That's a big lineup right there. I mean, my goodness, So if they choose that, I think it'll be a 3. Today. I think it'll be a 3. So
they extended Lively today. Dallas did 3 years, 62
and that's a good pick. I mean, honestly, he is probably one of the upside centers in the league. I mean, what he does in points, he's a great shot blocker, rebounder, and he knows his role. He was very instrumental in their run last year, honestly. So, but I don't know. I mean,
how hard is it believe that he was once the #1 player in the country?
Yeah,
I know.
Is that not wild? The thing about Derek Lively was one of the #1 players. Then you have a chance to get a guy who was also
#1 player. Yeah.
Player.
Yeah.
Wow. It's wild to think that.
I mean, it really is. It really is. I mean, honestly. So, I did want to ask you guys because I know we're kind of coming up on the end here, and I know you probably got to get going too, Pear. And this has been a great show. And by the way, I want to give some love to a new fan, Chris Kane for Life from Utah. He actually has been participating, and this is a great show, and I really appreciate that love, man. Honestly, so I really.
Shout out to Chris Kane for Life. Can I give a shout out to one of my favorite Canes this week?
Absolutely. And I have a shout out for a Rebel. Happy birthday to Michael Lynn today, by the way. Happy birthday to the great Michael Lynn today. So yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out. But please give please give a shout out to a Canes, please.
So,
a player. Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to this Kane. I went back and I looked at some highlights. And I want to say to those who did not think DJ Williams was DJ Williams is one of the best linebackers. I had to watch the film again. Mm-hmm. I had to watch the film again. Like I looked and I said, how did he not get drafted higher? I looked at that quality of team. Man, DJ Williams. Like this is one of the guys that I thought was going to be one of those game changers in the league, and I think he had a very formidable career. I want to say he played with the Broncos.
Yep, got a Super Bowl ring. He did get a Super Bowl, I believe. So yeah, I mean,
had a formidable career, and I just want to say, like, go back to the tape on DJ Williams, and you will be thoroughly impressed.
From the infamous De La Salle that won 120-something games, Kevin Simon was there as well. I mean, yeah, DJ Williams' problem was he was next to John Vilma, had Sean Taylor behind him, and Ed Reed at one point, and he had Vince Wilfork in front of him. That was the problem. Yeah. I mean, God, this was sick abundance.
But I went back to the tape. I watched a couple Florida State Miami games. I'm sorry, we're 9 Saturdays away, so I'm watching a ton of college football.
Yeah, we're going to have football next week, by the way. Next week is football talk already for next week's show. Just tune in for that. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he was, and I'm a big college football fan anyway. He's one of those guys I had to give a shout out to this week. So, DJ Williams, if you are even watching, or I'm telling you, I had to go back to the tape. I said, you know what? I thought he was good, but damn. He was.
Yeah. Hey, you want to know something? How crazy was this? Him and Al Wilson were both linebackers at the same time at the Broncos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's freaky as well. So, yeah, I mean.
And Al Wilson was a Pro Bowler and one of the more underrated linebackers of the later 2000s.
He's actually my favorite Vol of all time, Al Wilson. Honestly, he's one of my favorites.
So. Yeah, he's one of my favorites too.
My favorite Vol, I'm going to say he's top 5. I share the same birthday with some guy named Peyton Manning. So.
Oh, well, of course, you got to go with Peyton Manning. You got to go, yeah. Well, you know who my favorite Kane player of all time is? Dan Morgan. You know that because I tried to be him when I played, so that's the thing. So, yeah.
All-time favorite, if I had to pick an all-time favorite Kane player, it's probably Santana Moss.
Oh, without a doubt. Santana was.
Yeah. Mine is Jim Kelly because he was a Bill.
Jim Kelly, yeah.
Kelly.
Not bad. Not bad choice.
It's a great game.
I got to go with the late, great Jerome Brown because I wanted to be him when I was playing.
Yeah. We had a hell of a discussion about Len Bias, had he lived or whatever. What if Jerome Brown had a full NFL career and had died early?
Him with Reggie White in Philadelphia?
And Clyde Simmons and Eric Allen and Byron Waters and Jesse Small and Seth Joyner and
what if?
A lot of what ifs there.
Big what if. I think Jerome Brown is one of the biggest what ifs because he would have been playing with Clyde Simmons, Eric Allen, Reggie White. God bless the dead, man.
I saw Jerome Brown dominate an Orange Bowl against Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
My God, and Oklahoma had big boy Eric Casillas, some of them big boys up front, and Jerome Brown made them look like they were.
Oh, he wanted blood. So,
yeah. I remember. I know we're running up on time, but I remember when I heard Jerome had passed. I was watching ESPN, and I didn't grasp it like he got in the wreck. I thought he got in the wreck, he'd be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me until I saw Reggie White say something, and then I just remember that whole year was dedicated to Jerome Brown, and it was a special time for the Eagles. But just him saying Jerome Brown, like Larry, you brought back so many visions of those Eagles teams, those Miami teams. I remember wearing. I wanted to get camouflage so bad because of Jerome Brown.
Let me.
I did.
They don't make dudes like that anymore. Honestly, they just don't.
No,
so they really don't. So no disrespect to the new, but they just don't make guys like that. So
right.
Yeah, and I want to throw out this little tidbit. Before the Oklahoma and Miami game, we the boss. We the boss.
Yeah. I ain't afraid of you, bitch. Like that's what he said to the. I ain't afraid of you, bitch.
Game. I was like 7 years old. And we had Alonzo Highsmith on U-Talk with Melvin Bratton a couple of years back. That's what Alonzo
special episode.
When Alonzo had taken the job in the recruiting department as the lead recruiter at Miami before everything happened with Mario. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But Alonzo Highsmith, I read his lips at 7 years old. That phrase is what made me become a Hurricanes fan. I tell that story on U-Talk all the time. Me and Devin get into it. We talk about it, and I tell the people, the callers. I was a little 7-year-old kid sitting in the living room, watching these guys come together. And Oklahoma was very, very intimidating back in the 80s. They were.
Yeah, they were damn good. They were damn good.
They were good, and they were intimidating. And I read his lips, and I don't know if the way they did it, they just panned the camera. I want to say it was Jerome Brown, it was Highsmith,
and Moss. I think it was Moss.
Winston
Moss was the other one that took the coin toss. Yeah, I think
they were there at midfield, and they put the camera on Highsmith. I ain't scared of you, bitch. Let's go. And I was 7 years old, and guess what? That's my team right there.
Yeah,
and I've been rocking and rolling with them ever since.
Yeah. I mean that and that you and honestly, a lot of the 30 to 30s were great, and the U and the U part 2 were phenomenal. I mean, they were.
So. Oh, they're phenomenal.
Oh, those are my favorite ones. The U, the part 2, because I think part 2 we were in high school. So it was like watching. It felt like it felt like what a memory lane, because I just remember how good Philip Buchanan, Mike Rumpf, Najee Davenport, Clinton.
And let me tell you something about Mike Rumpf. When we do our bash, our U-Talk bash in Atlanta every other year, Mike is on the recruiting. Bless you, Carrot. Mike is on the recruiting department in Miami. So Mike comes. We talk with Mike. Mike sat right next to me.
He's one of them. You know how much I love my nose, but I do love my cousins of the U. I just dislike the team in Gainesville, but
we don't need to talk about
Miami. I can talk about Miami and Tennessee guys and Florida State guys all day, because just swag, you know what I mean? Like the Brett Perrymans, the Michael Irvin. Like, you gotta, if you're a fan of college football and you don't like Miami, I kind of wonder if you really watch college football.
It's kind of like, honestly, they represent a brand. It's kind of like if you didn't like UNLV or you didn't like Michigan in college basketball in the Fab Five. I mean, they were they were must-see TV, baby. You had to watch it. That's the thing. So, I mean, I respect good teams. I respect dynasties, and you have to have a villain. You have to have a hero, and that's the truth of it. So, and that's what's missing nowadays. It really is. So.
Well, it was funny this week. I heard a new villain this week for Tennessee. I had the nerve to listen to 104.5 in Nashville, The Zone.
Ooh.
And Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Palmer was out there.
I like that guy. I like that guy.
We're going to run the state next year. And I'm sitting there going,
he's got to come here.
Nashville.
You even run your city.
Hey, listen,
Curry, you know he's got to come to Milan. He knows
Exactly.
Yeah.
He understands how rocking 108,000 people are.
He gonna get killed.
Hey, listen.
I got one better for you.
I think you're going to say go for it, Larry. I know who you're going to say.
You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
Say it. Say it.
The new Florida State quarterback,
Castellanos.
Thomas Castellanos, said we're going to own Alabama because Nick Saban ain't there no more. You better tell your people down in Tallahassee.
49-14.
I said the same thing. I said these bombs are 0-1 before July 4th. It's over.
Let me just tell you this.
We're losing. They're losing 49-14.
Why would you say that?
Wait a minute. I'm going to throw something out here. Here's my chaos scenario for you guys. If Florida State somehow pulls that off against Alabama, DeBorg better get his U-Haul truck and go the fuck back to Washington because he ain't going to be allowed in Bryant-Denny because they had to put up with losing to Vanderbilt and they are not going to be losing to Florida State. Like I'm telling you. So yeah, no way. So
well, wait a minute. Never say never now because you're breaking in a new quarterback. Milroe's gone. I don't think
who is their quarterback. I mean, who do they got?
I have no idea. But I tell you what, if Vandy could beat that Alabama team, which was a good one, never say never. And you see, when you get a team like Florida State that finished with 2 wins, those are the teams that could be a thorn in your side. And the best time to catch a team like Alabama is game 1. Everybody, the nerves are on. People haven't gelled yet. The chemistry isn't there yet.
Or near the end of the season, like Oklahoma caught them at the end.
I mean, DeBorg, I don't know. Alabama fans, they were spoiled. They had the greatest of all time. Love them or hate them. But Shane, back me up on this, man. What in the world? How long of a leash does DeBorg really have at Alabama? I mean, everybody. We always said who really. After Saban, you're in a no-win situation, but he'll get
3 years. He'll get a total of 3 years. He'll get this year, next year.
Yeah.
If things are on track with the way Alabama is used to, he's gone.
Yeah.
You really want to get a good gauge of that?
Go. Yeah.
Go research and see how many years Dabo has left on his contract.
I was about to say the same thing. Dabo's there waiting.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's coming. He didn't want to be the direct guy. But he's going to be one of the guys. Well, he's going to be in that lineage. Yeah.
He didn't go to Clemson.
He didn't.
He went to Alabama.
He turned Clemson into a national power.
He did.
Right.
He did.
Yeah. So that's an very interesting statement.
It's like right about Bill Belichick. It's like Pat Head Summit. Look, Kim Caldwell, she's the 3rd person after Pat, and she may be the most successul person after Pat Summit. It's hard to replace a legend.
It really is. It really is.
Holly had her. Did Holly get to an Elite 8?
She got to a Sweet 16. She never got to an Elite 8. So yeah.
And then Kelly Harper never got to an Elite 8.
No, she got to the Sweet 16, second round, that type of thing.
I think Caldwell 16.
Yeah, Caldwell's good. Caldwell's good for the late. Well, let me ask you guys this real quick. And Larry, I know you're not a Duke fan or whatever like that. To follow Coach K, Shire's already got to a Final Four in year 3. You know what I mean? Type of a thing. So my question is this: What does DeBorg got to do to at least satisfy Alabama? Mine is short of making a national championship appearance because hell, they didn't even make the playoffs last year.
The first thing they got to do is in this order. You have to win at least 10 games. That's number 1. You have to beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Yep.
You can't start losing to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. You have to contend for an SEC championship. And you have to make the playoff. And you have to win at least 1 game in the playoff. If he can do all of that, he'll be safe. But if he repeats a season like he did last year, no SEC championship, no playoff. And Auburn played them close. Auburn could have beat them.
And that was a shitty Auburn team, too.
That was a terrible 5-win Auburn team, and they had them on the ropes.
You also lost to Tennessee again.
Yeah.
He's got to beat Tennessee.
You got to beat
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
What they've lost to Tennessee 2 out of 3 years.
Yep.
And
because remember, Nick Saban's last loss was to Josh Heupel.
And keep this in mind: much as I don't like them, they're in my backyard. Don't you start losing to LSU.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
lose.
and LSU's putting together quite a class. I don't know how Kelly's doing it, if it's NIL money, because he's just a weird dude to want to play for. But they are getting some.
They got a lot of money. They
LSU
got a lot of money.
is the Louisiana version of Miami. They've got good players down here. They got some decent players, but the coaching is going to always sell them short, just like that idiot down, in South Beach.
Yeah,
And I don't like him. And I'm already, y'all know, y'all heard me on Utah.
Yeah.
I do not like him.
I felt like what you're saying is what the average Miami fan who's come accustomed to watching them, like when y'all talked about on the show, I was like, where the lie at?
Yep.
There ain't no lie.
But the fans are in denial because most of the Miami fans, they look at him being able to be a great recruiter and they give him a pass because he's a top-notch recruiter. But here's my thing.
You got to be able to coach.
Exactly. What good does it do you to bring them in if you ain't developing them?
Yeah, and how many?
And then half of them leave the program after 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Who the hell cares about where you placed or whatever? How many of those guys are there 5 years later? You know what did Fulmer in? A lot of people forget about this. Fulmer brought in some really top 5 classes. But if you go back at those old scout.com ones or whatever like that, how many of those guys for Tennessee actually became something, you know?
Right.
And that's what happened, unfortunately. And you can miss evaluations, but in this day and age when you can, there's no like what sitting out, there's no, you know, you got open book pocketbooks like what Kerry just said and a lot of money, you can win a championship. Look at Ohio State. They bought that last year, but props to them. I mean, they got coaches to become assistant coaches. They brought players from all over, $30 million NIL deal, but they got a damn trophy. They were going to they didn't lay down to watch Michigan win a damn trophy. They wanted to say, back at you, Michigan. And Michigan opened up their pocketbook for that damn quarterback. And let's see what they do now. You know,
I've never been a fan of Cristobal since his day at Oregon because he had Justin Herbert, LaMichael James, and some great talent up there, and he underachieved there.
He did.
He really underachieved.
He did.
And everybody up there, they hype up his victory over Ohio State, but they ignore the 2 losses to Utah, once in the regular season and once in the Pac-12 championship.
And don't forget UCLA had 1 loss, and Stanford. He could never beat Stanford.
Yeah, he lost to Stanford, in that overtime game. Shane, let me ask you this real quick. Who does Alabama have this year in the SEC slate? Do they play Georgia this year or Texas? Like, I know they got Tennessee, but I'm just curious of who's on the Alabama slate other than Auburn and Tennessee this year. You know,
they still got LSU because
they still got LSU. Okay,
I think that's the same weekend Miami has SMU.
Okay, because I'm just curious about who Alabama's got this year. Because, like I said, if they don't win at least the 10 games or what have you and beat the rivals like you mentioned, that seat's got to get hot for DeBorg. I mean, I really believe that.
Their SEC play with Georgia.
Oh, that's a loss.
Then Vanderbilt. Then Missouri. Then Tennessee. Then South Carolina.
South Carolina is actually not a bad team.
Oklahoma, and finish the season off with Auburn after homecoming with Eastern Illinois.
You know, I'm going to say this.
South Carolina, to keep in mind real quick, that quarterback, Lenoris Sellers, he bypassed an $8 million NIL offer to go to another school to stay at South Carolina.
And that was his father came in and was like, "Nah, you gonna stay here."
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Oklahoma beat their ass last year. Oklahoma could beat them again this year. You never know. Save Venables' job for another year. You never know. I mean, that's another guy that, you know, he might coach defense, but some of these guys are either like, some of them either got it or they're just lifelong assistant and coordinators. That's the truth of it. So yeah, but hey, listen, we're going to continue the football talk next week. Great show as always, guys. Kerry, thank you for being on. Last words for everybody before Two-Pair, you close us out, brother. So,
man, just really want to say have a great week. Always know nobody's watching. Think nobody's watching, so that's going to show up in your character. So just make sure to always know somebody is looking at you when you don't think anybody is looking at
you. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Be good, do good, and just take care of yourself. Take care of your bodies. Take care of mental health, man. Take care of everything, man. Keep yourselves in check. Take a break for yourselves when you need it. Everything happens. I've learned the hard way. Mental health is very important. Physical health is very important. Take care of yourself, man. That's what you got to do. Keep yourself, because you can't love anybody else until you love yourself.
Absolutely.
Take care. Take
Larry,
care of yourself.
last words, brother. Thank you, Kerry.
Yeah. Everybody don't put all that stock into what's happening and what you see on the news. My mom called me. Me and my wife were eating dinner over the weekend, and when the events of the weekend went down, my mom called me all upset, and I told her, I said, "Mom, turn the news off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put some Matlock on, or watch some Gunsmoke or something like that. You can't control what's happening in this world, so don't let what's happening in this world control you."
Woo!
That's right.
That's it.
I can't even follow that. I can't even follow that one up. Shit.
Here, I'll go next, and you can go after me. I'll follow that up. Larry, you actually took the words out of my mouth. I'm be honest with you guys. With everything going on in this world, just appreciate what we got. I think that a lot of times people take people for granted. Two pair, great advice. Be weary of somebody watching you when you don't think you're being watched. But the truth of the matter is you got to live every day that we get is a gift. Live it to the fullest. Love one another. Don't hate, appreciate. Simple as that. And just enjoy time we have and appreciate those that you do have, because they may not be here tomorrow, and you got to appreciate every moment you've got with them, no matter their age and who they are. Simple as that. Shane, go for it.
Set the example in everything you do, and God will bless you what you do.
Amen. Amen. Two pair, wrap it up, and we'll sign off, baby. Great Rebels with a Cause.
Stuck with us this long. You enjoyed yourself. This is Rebels with a Cause. Big Fact Sports 332 Studios. I'd like to thank all our guests and all the people that were watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Be blessed and be a blessing. We out of here like last year. Be good.